Hello everyone, the pack-up is underway after the 10th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship here in Marrakesh. Very, very hot race today. But I think they say they wanted to get us out of the sun, but the sun is worse towards the end of the day. It's because F1 was on Channel 4 today, as it is tomorrow. But yeah, the pack-up is well underway, ready for everything to head to New York for the next part of the championship. Every single round from here is double-header. We've got 6 races in 6 weeks, but 2 weeks between each one. So yeah, it's a little bit easier to calculate. Right, I'm going to stand here and do Neo first because, as you can see, they're putting parts down from it, and so I think I might as well. Thankfully, there's a stiff breeze, which means that I'm nice and cool today. Neo, it started so well, didn't it? They are fantastic in practice, and then qualifying happens, and they're average, and then the race happens, and well, Dan had a puncture today, which was unfortunate for him. So yeah, he ran a lap down for most of the race and then retired with 5 minutes to go. Turvey was P4 and FP2, but as the day goes on, they just seem to just slip away more and more. I think that they started 14th and 16th, and Dan retired and Turvey finished 17th, so not a great day for them. There's a little walk through now. There's puddles. Why are there puddles here? It's a desert. Dragon. They had I think Satsukama qualified quite well. I think he was up near 12th or something, and then unfortunately he fell away in the race and actually finished behind Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi didn't even get a lap out in qualifying because he was out in he had a puncture, unfortunately. So sad times for them. I think today we do have the 2 worst teams at the bottom. At this end of the pit lane, unfortunately. So that's disappointing from those 2 teams. I think it's just going to be a day of the more we go down, the better it gets. Nissan had a so-so day. It wasn't ideal. Buemi qualified 14th, which was all right, but had a 3-place penalty for that incident with De Vries that we talked about yesterday. Max Günther started 18th. Buemi started 17th then. And then, Max Günther retired in the end with on a couple of laps to go. Buemi, he was running in and around the fringe of the top 10, but it was never going to be enough for them today, which is unfortunate. Right, Mahindra. Nick Heidfeld's helping up with a pack up. Good man. He's just behind that. I was happy with Mahindra today. They were running second for a while. It's great with Ollie Rowland. Simsy was running on the fringe of the top 10, but they both dropped back towards the end of the race. Rowland snagged a point in 10th. Simsy finished 14th. So it's a case of what could have been actually, I need to get our next ways. Continuing to pack up. Simsy's just behind me. Dillbag's there. Fortunately, we didn't get to see the Fez today, but it was a shame from Mahindra because I think they could have got so many more points. Andre Lotter's behind me. I feel like this is the earliest that I've ever done the pit walk. I've never done it when drivers are still around. Andre, I thought it was very harsh to disqualify his lap times from qualifying Group A. He missed the 6-minute mark, by 45 thousandths of a second, which I think you need like a tolerance. I think like if he was 5 hundredths of a second, if he was half a tenth quicker, he would have been in the clear, which I think is relatively unfair. Pascal Wehrlein qualified fourth, but it was a very weird strategy today. They kind of just dropped, but I think they were expecting the race to go one lap longer. But yeah, it was an interesting strategy that didn't pay off in the end. Pascal was able to get back up to 12th. Lostra finished somewhere around like 15th, 16th. I think it just wasn't Porsche's day today, but it was the day of Rocket Venturi Racing. Incredible today. I think they Eduardo Mortara, third win of the year, ties for most wins with Mitch Evans. I've actually got some space here, so I can get my elbows out. I mean, got DHL things all the time, but I've got a nice 1.5 meters of space to talk about Venturi. Edo is mega consistent. This is the best I think he's ever driven. I did speak to him after the race. He feels like this is like a whole team effort, like from where they came from in season 4, where admittedly he did have that race he almost won in Hong Kong, but it was never properly there. This is a proper team that's going to challenge for the title now. Edo now leads the championship. Lucas finished 5th, so it's fantastic for Rocket Venturi Racing today. And yeah, I'm going to stay here because I've got a little bit more space. I can get my elbows out a bit for no reason. Andretti, honestly, I think this is one of their best days. And Jake Dennis was arguably my driver of the day. I think Ollie Rowland was up there as well. The fact that he was running second as well for Ollie. But Jake Dennis lost 30 minutes of track time yesterday, finished 20th in P2, got into the duels, was fastest of those who lost out in the quarterfinals, and then finished 7th. I think that is an incredible day considering what happened yesterday. Oliver Askew made it into the duels for the first time and out-qualified Nick Cassidy. So he wasn't the slowest one of the quarterfinalists who were knocked out. So yeah, I genuinely, one of Andretti's best days this season. I think it was a solid day. And actually, I think I'm just going to walk down this side of the pit lane because I think it might be a little bit easier on the teams who are trying to pack up than me just get in their way like I was doing with Nick Heidfeld earlier. Envision. They really needed to bounce back, and it just didn't happen today, unfortunately. Nick made it into the duels, which is the first time in a while, so that's good that he was able to get there. But it was unfortunate that as far as I'm aware, he went into the attack mode and spun it. So yeah, no, disappointing in that regard. But and Robin, he qualified 14th, and I think he ended up only ahead of the Dragons in the end. I'm not sure what happened towards the end. I know that he was in a fight with Simsy and Wehrlein halfway through the race. There was a fantastic little tussle there that they broadcast. But they've gone well around New York, so there's hope, I guess. But yeah, Envision, just not a great day for them, unfortunately. But yeah, hoping that they can bounce back in New York, as we hope they would have done this weekend. Now, Diaz de Cheetah, Kings of qualifying. I did speak to Jev after the race. He said that there's not an issue with the race pace. Even though in the last couple of races they have qualified right up the front and then dropped back a bit. So with Jev, it was just battery issues towards the end of the race, keeping that under temperature. So yeah, that was unfortunate for Jev. Da Costa, I hoped that this would be the day that he won, but he finished second, which is an all right result. I was hoping that if he won, we might get a fifth guy there or thereabout in the championship. But Saunders said in the press conference, which wasn't recorded, which I apologise, purely because like the speaker's location wasn't ideal, because I usually put my microphone up to the speaker so you guys can hear it, whereas like there wasn't an opportunity to do that at all this weekend. So my apologies for that. Da Costa apparently it's his first podium this year, and when I think about it, it is, which is insane to be saying. I thought he would have had at least one podium this year, but no, apparently this was his first. But you think of like the races where like, yeah, he qualified on the front row in Jakarta, fell back to fifth. It does kind of make sense a little bit more, but yeah. Jaguar, it's very clear that their race car is better than their qualifying car. Mitch qualified sixth, I think, and then came through to finish third. There was one point where I thought, oh, it's just going to be a Mitch Evans masterclass again. But yeah, he fell back to finish third and only just got third ahead of Verne over the line. There was a fantastic little tussle on the final lap of the race. Sam Bird, again, lowly qualifying, came through to ninth. I think that there's more that it's the curious case of Sam Bird, isn't it? Like, we know that he has the potential. We know that he's one of the quickest guys on the grid, but it just hasn't been there for most of this season. He loves New York. He won there twice. The first time he went there, and he won there last year. So please let this be the resurgence of Sam Bird in New York in a few weeks' time. But yeah. However, even though it was a so-so race for Jaguar, they do close in on Mercedes, who I think are still in the lead of the Constructors' Championship. I would have to have that confirmed. But yeah, Stoff lost the lead in the championship today with a horrible qualifying. Yeah, so there was a lock-up into turn 7, but it was the brakes. There was a fundamental issue with the brakes, which meant that the car wasn't really enjoyable to drive this weekend. That's what he said when he spoke to me in the pen. So, yeah, it was damage limitation because he recovered from 20th to 8th, and that is an incredible drive, just shy of what Mitch did last year. When he came from the back of the grid to finish 6th. Nick De Vries qualified just outside the top 10. It was the first time Mercedes didn't go into the duels this season, which is incredible. Yeah, it's just an incredible run of form that they've been on. Nick started at the end, latter end of the top 10. And then came through to finish 6th. He was just pipped by Lucas Di Grassi on the last lap. But yeah, damage limitation. They've definitely had the lead in the championship car. I believe Rocket Venturi are now second. They're still first, but only by a little bit. Again, could be wrong. But yeah, those are all the 10 teams. And that's what happened in the Marrakesh E-Prix. Yeah, it's been a late one. Well, the 6-hour wait was. The thing is, usually when there's a wait between things, there's some on-track action to enjoy. There's nothing. I was joking to Lou Johnson, the photographer, that Bruno Carrera should have just done laps of the circuit. Just we all get one lap each or something. Every single person in this, and we still would have had time for a nap or something. But, yeah. Yeah, that's how this weekend went. We move on to New York. Every single race now is a double header. And it really is crunch time in the championship. We've got 6 weeks to solve. Yeah. we move on to New York. Yeah, next 2 races there. We should be on site. I want to touch wood. I can't see any wood. Please don't crop that. I know one of my mates is gonna. I was like, he said I want to touch wood. I do it to myself, really. There's another one. Yes. So fingers crossed we will be in New York, visa dependent. It's another one like Saudi, whereas like it's a bit touch or go whether I'm going to be there. And then after that, we'll definitely be in London, and then we will definitely sort out Seoul. It really is coming down to this championship now. I'm really excited. We've got our top 4. They are going to be the protagonists coming into the final few races. Roll on New York in a few days' time, in a couple of weeks' time. And we will see you later. Bye-bye.
I wanna touch wood. I wanna touch wood. I wanna touch wood. I do it to myself, really.